It's that time again. Time for the Steam Summer Sale 2022 edition. As is typical with these sales videos, I will be putting a link to Darren's picks below and also at the end of the video. There will also be links below, either in the show notes or in the comments, to all of these Steam games so that you can find them easily and quickly and check to see, because as always, I'm trying to get this video out just before the sale or just at the beginning of the sale. And to do that, that means that I need to kind of guess at my picks. So you'll see a couple of dark horse picks on this list this time, things I'm hoping to see, but we shall see. I've broken the video up into a few different sections. One is a bundle-ish section. One is it's not really a section, but just a big ticket item that I am looking forward to. A section for our episodes that are coming up. And then a mid-tier and cheaper section with a fun free game recommendation at the end as well. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the first section. The bundle-ish section, this is one that I have done before, and I really wanted to do it again because I've seen some interesting things coming out lately, or at least since the last time I did that kind of bundle section. The first one is Wales Interactive. The one I'm talking about is the Mega FMV bundle, but they have many different ones. It is 9 games, 74% off at about $28, and that's recent. In fact, I believe that's the current price as I'm recording this. I cannot guarantee that it will stay at that throughout the entire sale, because sometimes sales that start before the official sale are on their own timeline. It's going to give you games like The Complex, Late Shift, Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus, Bloodshore, 5 Dates, I Saw Black Clouds, Nightbook, and a few that you will recognize from episodes we've done before on the podcast. Shapeshifting Detective, The Bunker. I think it's going to be worth it. At that rate, you're paying just over $3 for full motion video games. FMV doesn't usually go that cheap. I like to see that they're doing all these bundles. If you don't want to go full in, you can, of course, look at some of the other bundles that have 3 to 4 to 6 games and maybe give those a try. But for me, I've played 3. I've enjoyed them. They're not perfect, but I do enjoy them. Wales Interactive has basically found a niche to work with that is B-movie quality FMV games. And for FMV, I'll take it. Next up is a game I know that I've recommended before, and that is Mortal Kombat 11, the Ultimate Edition. That is $60 at base, but I have seen it on sale for $13 recently on Fanatical. It is well worth it if you like the Mortal Kombat games. They've done some very interesting things with this one. The story fixes a few things from the previous version and ruins some things in this version. Some of the fights are incredibly easy, some of the fights are incredibly hard. It's Mortal Kombat. Get ready to grind through the crypt as well, which is a bit frustrating, but I will say this. I have put a ton of hours into the game. I've loved playing it. The fatalities look great. Some of the newer characters, obviously, I don't care as much about. I will say this, though. One thing they've done that is very interesting is allowing you to choose, as you grind up and earn them, a variety of different skins, of course, cosmetics, but the bigger thing is more that you can choose different special moves to have. That is a very interesting way to approach Mortal Kombat, and I think that it's worth giving a try. All that is actually, though, kind of preamble to lead up to Tekken 7, the definitive edition. The thing is, after playing Mortal Kombat so much, I kind of wanted to get back into my other fighting game, which is Tekken. I've been putting it off for a very long time because they really did a lot of DLC. There were 4 different packs, and they didn't even include all the characters. It's, in my opinion, been kind of a mess, but it looks like the definitive edition has finally fixed that problem. I'm going to put a screenshot here of what it includes. You decide if it has everything you think it should, and it's finally hit to the point where I have seen it very recently as low as $28. Now, this one is a kind of dark horse pick because it's not on sale at the moment anywhere. But for that price to finally get everything all together, I like Tekken. I'll get it at some point at that price. Next up would be another collection that I love, and that is the Arkham Collection. It's $9 currently at Humble Bundle, about $8.39 on Fanatical. The Arkham Collection, I mean, if you like Batman, you're going to enjoy this. If you played Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor, very similar combat styles, very similar kind of perks and skills that you can add to your character. I personally think the first one is the best, but they are all worth playing. This will get you all three, Asylum, City, and Night. They are all either Game of the Year editions or, with Night, the Premium Edition. A lot of fun, well worth playing if you're a Batman fan, especially if you are a fan of the animated series from the 90s and the voice work there. You're just going to love the opening of Arkham Asylum. Along with that, if you are a Batman fan and a LEGO Games fan, you might want to look into the LEGO Batman Trilogy. Now, it's not currently on sale, so it is a bit pricey at the moment. But very recently, there was a special sale, and I'm talking a week or two ago, where the whole trilogy was about $5. If it hits that again, and you like LEGO games or Batman games or both, well then I highly recommend it. Honestly, I find most LEGO games are going to hit about the $5 point at some point for their sales, and they're worth it. They have replayability, they're fun to play, especially if you're playing with somebody else. They're just a relaxing combat type of game, and I would highly recommend it. Next up, I've not played a lot of these games, but what I found was a lot of these games were ones that I was going to put in my cheap section this year and have put in the past as well. This is the Daedalic Gigantic Bundle. Now right now it's only $5.59 at Fanatical, and that gets you 13 games, which is less than $1 per game. You're going to have games like Blackguards 1 and 2, Anna's Quest, Munin, Gomo, Journey of a Roach, some point and click, and I think you're going to see from some of the others that I'm got on the list and some things that are coming up. I'm in a bit of a point and click mood, so I think it's high time to look at this bundle. Now, I have this bundle, and I'm very happy to have this bundle. I just haven't really dug into it and really tried it out yet, and I'm looking at it thinking, it's time. Okay, next up, not really a section, just one game. I'm only going to put one big ticket game on here this year, and that one, no surprise, I think, to anyone who has listened to our podcast, it's going to be Oddworld Soulstorm. $30 now on Steam. Now, this sale will end on June 29th. That is not really Steam sale, that is new to Steam sale. We missed out on it for, I think, a whole year because it was released exclusively to Epic. Now it's finally on Steam. Now I can finally play, and I'm probably going to get this one pretty soon. I've been waiting a very long time for a new Oddworld game. As far as stuff to get, because we're going to be playing it for the podcast, well, secret, we've already played it. Some things that we've recorded that are set to come out in the near future. Light Matter, currently at $5 on Fanatical. I think it will probably hit that on Steam as well. Light Matter is a first-person puzzler. If you like Talos Principle, if you like Portal, it's worth playing. Now, I'm not going to say that it's as good as those, but it is a lot of fun. It is a game with some very interesting puzzles. There's some fun voice work in it as well. I highly recommend it. Give it a try. Fran Bow. As I said, I've been in a point-and-click adventure game type of mood. Fran Bow is part of the reason for that. I played it. I loved it. It's cute and dark and has adventure game logic in a way that just amuses me. Currently, Good Old Games has it at $3.74, which is pretty much the record low for most places. If it hits anything around the $5 mark on Steam, it's worth it. Next up is one that Darren and I disagree as to how it should be pronounced. I think it's Luminosity. He goes more for Luminosity. You can see it on the screen here. Good Old Games has it currently at $3.89. The lowest it's ever been on Steam was about $2.60. It is an amazingly fun point and click. There are a couple puzzles I didn't like. You'll find out when we get to the episode which ones those are. Or, if you buy it in the sale and play it yourself, you'll probably know a couple of the ones that I'm frustrated with. But overall, it is an absolutely beautiful game visually, and it is just such an interesting concept with the way that they've made it as a physical background. And the way that looks and the way they've used that for the gameplay is really something magical. Really worth checking out if you haven't played it already. Next up is Gorogoa. Currently $3.59 at Fanatical. Steam lowest is not even that low. The lowest has been $4.49. I think it's well worth it. It is a fun puzzle game that is very unlike anything I've done before. There are hints of things I've done before, but it really feels like something unique and special. You basically have a window of 4 squares, and those 4 squares you're going to zoom in and out of pictures and separate the parts of pictures into other frames so that you can make them match up and interact in ways that are fun and magical. I know I said that about Luminosity, but the same thing applies here. It is just really something that is different and special, and I highly recommend it. I can't really say much more without giving away some of the puzzles. With that, let's go ahead and get into what I refer to as my mid-tier section. So the first one on this is Yaga. That is spelled Y-A-G-A. Now this is $7.74 on Fanatical. Currently $10 on Humble Bundle and Steam. And if that's the price currently on Steam, that's probably as low as it's going to go. I think this just looks like a very interesting game and one that I wouldn't mind checking out. It has a mix of mythology with new story. The cartoonish look of it is just something that I find very appealing. Everything about this is just kind of leaning me towards maybe I want to give this a try. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to get it in this sale, but I'm definitely going to wishlist it and look for it in the future. Human Resource Machine, a game where you use people to solve puzzles. Currently $6 on Good Old Games. The Steam low is $3.74. We can hope for that one. This is from the same creators as Little Inferno, which I've played and I've loved, and I will possibly play again. I think that the art style, the dark humor, everything about what this company does kind of fits me. And so I definitely want to give Human Resource Machine a try. And if you already have that one but don't know about it, there is 7 Billion People, which is the sequel to this game. Next up is De Blob. That's D-E, and then I believe a space, and then Blob. It's about $5 right now on Fanatical and Humble. It is a platformer where you play a blob that is a color trying to put color back into a world where the color has been stolen away. It is a platformer. It is something that just seems a bit crazy, but a bit fun. I'm kind of in for it. So I'm not sure if I'll jump on this one just yet, but I am tempted. I am very tempted by it. And there's a sequel which also seems to have very good reviews. Next up is a game called Kiwi. Now let me spell this. It's K-E-Y and then W-E. Kiwi is currently at $13 on Fanatical. It looks like an amazingly cute and cooperative game, which, yeah, I recommended Overcooked before, so no surprise there. It just looks amazing. You are Kiwi birds trying to get the mail out, and you have to work together to get it done. And they are meant to be more actual size, so you're having to deal with typewriters that are human-sized, but you're a little bird. I really want to give this one a try, and I hope you do too. Next up is a game called 12 Minutes. Now it's currently $13.74 on Fanatical and $17.50 on Humble. It's a newer game, but it's an indie game, so it's never going to go quite that high. I would like it to hit the 10 mark, or 12, just for the irony of it. 12 Minutes is a time loop game, and I probably don't need to say any more than that. It does seem like you need to figure something out. This is not a time loop game as much as like Deathloop, which I recommended before. 12 Minutes is much more, I understand it to be anyway, a story and puzzle game, which has me very, very interested. Alright, let's get into the cheap section. First off, I'm just going to warn you, I've only played the first two here. Most of the others are ones that I've just looked at and they look very interesting. The first one is called Distraint. Distraint is currently 50 cents on Humble. I don't think it'll go much cheaper than that. It is a fun, slightly dark point and click with a character with a giant head. It definitely has some adventure game logic. I enjoyed it. I think you will too if that sounds like your thing. The next one is called Stick It to the Man. Now, Stick It to the Man was gifted to me, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. There are a couple of times where the movement and trying to stealth around characters can be a bit annoying, but overall, I love it, and I love it because of its main concept and its art style. It is currently at $1.27 at Fanatical, and Steam, I think the low is $1.59. It goes pretty low. Stick It to the Man, just to give you an idea of what it is, you are grabbing stickers out of people's thoughts, and you can put stickers into their thoughts. So, for example, you can take a guard who's tired, and you can put the Z's from somebody who's sleeping into his thought bubble, and now he's also sleeping. It's that kind of mechanic, and it's also that kind of humor. It is an older game, and there are a few times where things will happen a bit in a weird fashion. For example, going between levels, I think you would get a flash of your desktop before you could get back again. But overall, it played pretty smoothly. It was a lot of fun. If you like adventure games, this is one I would highly recommend. Next is a game called Impossible Creatures. Now, this is also an older game, but that's why it's cheap. It's only $2.49 right now on Humble and Fanatical, and will probably hit that on Steam. Impossible Creatures is for people who like Beast Battle Simulator, but you don't like having to stick to traditional animal types. Do you want a shark with crab arms and tiger legs? According to what I saw on the store page, looks like that's what you can have, and then you send those creatures against each other. So, take it to the next level with Impossible Creatures. Next are two games that I really don't know anything about, but I love the way they look, and I love their description. We've got one called Down in Bermuda. This is $1.99 on both Humble and, I believe, Steam at its low. It was on Steam at that price. It is a bit of puzzle, a bit of platform, and adventure. Same thing with the next one, that is Chronology. Chronology is currently 50 cents on Fanatical. Puzzles, adventure, cute cartoonish aesthetic. It's the type of thing I'm kind of looking for at the moment, so I might be picking this one up soon. The next game is a game called Space Accident. Space Accident looks like a first-person puzzler. It's currently like $1.25 on Humble Bundle and $2.24 on Steam. I think it's going to be good, but you never know until you play it. For that price, though, it doesn't have to be that great for me to have felt I got my money's worth. Out of the Box. Out of the Box is a game where you play a bouncer at I think a trendy club or a trendy bar, and in it, you basically play Papers, Please. It's meant to be kind of funny. I haven't really played it, so I can't attest to the humor for myself, but it looks like it has every bit of potential to be something interesting. I really enjoyed Papers, Please. Another game that is similar, but with a different setting and different set of rules. I'm intrigued. $2.29 on Fanatical currently. Steam at its lowest was $1.50, so I would hold out, see what the Steam sale does for that one. The last one for this section, for my cheap section, is a game that just looks really beautiful. Puzzle adventure game called The Inner World. It's $1.79 currently on Fanatical. Steam low was $2.24. I don't know what more to say about it because I haven't actually played it yet. It's just something that when I look at the store page, when I watch the trailer, it just looks beautiful and cute and something I guess I'm just in the mood for as I'm looking over my list. There are a fair amount on here. They're kind of described that same way, but the inner world really looks like it could be a winner. With that, I just want to leave you, as I often do, with a couple ideas of maybe some freebie games you might want to give a try. So on Steam, I've tried recently Awkward Dimensions Redux. Now, it's not my favorite, and I have some real issues with the game, but at free, it's definitely worth trying. It has hints of beginner's guide, and even a bit superliminal, just in the way the environments look and work. Again, it's not perfect, but it's free and maybe worth giving a try for an hour. I would also probably recommend that you give Roblox a chance. We keep toying with the idea of possibly doing an episode of the podcast with Roblox in mind, and we keep leaning more and more towards it. I think that we probably will at some point. It's free. You can try it as much as you want. But the real one that I want to recommend, the one that I would recommend the most, is a game called Time Thief. Time Thief is a game where you have 1 minute to live once you leave your village. Sounds a bit like Minute, right? Except in this one, you can extend your life by killing enemies. And the enemies are worth different amounts of health, right? 5 seconds, 10 seconds. There are only a few different types of enemies, but the few different types of enemies all have movement rules, which you learn and you get better, and you can harvest the time better. It's just a fun little game. You'll beat it in probably about an hour, which is also great if you're just looking for some shorter experiences, which, again, looking at my list, I think that's kind of what I'm in the mood for at the moment. With that, though, that is my picks for the Steam Summer Sale. I, of course, will have links to Darren's video, and as I said before, links below to all of the games I have mentioned in the video. Did you find any good deals? Did you find any on my list that you absolutely think are a terrible idea and you want people to avoid it? Well, let me know in the comments down below. Until then, though, happy shopping, happy gaming.